Brothers and sisters, my name is Mcalpine and I am the parliamentary candidate for Harlow and the villages. Harlow is my town. I was raised there, I studied there, and recently I had a baby there. And I'll tell you why that's important. Because unlike Boris Johnson and his friends, I am a working class candidate, a working class politician. Now, just like the people of my town, I felt disengaged and let down by those politicians that came before me. Self-serving politicians from privilege, self-serving politicians that studied at Eton and Oxbridge, politicians who were making decisions on behalf of myself and my community. But then in 2015, something remarkable happened. Jeremy Corbyn was elected as the leader of the Labour Party. And regular people, just like me, up and down the country, became energised and engaged in politics. And then in 2017, there was the manifesto which burned with ambition for working class life, just as it did in the post-war Labour Party under Attlee. My town, Harlow, is a new town. It was born under Attlee's post-war Labour government, and its vision allowed families like mine, Labour voting, ex-Londoners, to enjoy a life in Harlow that was not, if not a socialist utopia, then a community based on sound and conscientious municipal values, providing affordable council housing and decent local jobs. It created the kind of securities that most of us can only enjoy today, the kind of securities that Labour policies will help us once again achieve. I'm liking this applause, thank you. Thatcher's rejection of that vision has plunged working class communities like Harlow into permanent insecurity. The Tories sold off council housing, leaving our communities with a chronic social housing shortage. They deregulated and privatised our public services, with the only beneficiaries being the super rich. And they offshored millions of decent jobs, decimating our communities up and down the country. The Tories have consistently prioritised the interests of the elite over the rest of us. They have never been on our side. If they are so sure of their leader, Boris Johnson, then why don't they put it to the people and call a general election now? And let we, the people, decide who our Prime Minister will be. Boris and his friends are scared of a Labour government, and I'll tell you why. Because we are taking our inspiration from the kind of governments that built new towns like Harlow in the first place. Policies that will empower working class communities. We won't aspire to improve working class life by abolishing it. We'll build a future based on our own needs and values rather than the ones espoused by capital. When Labour get into government, we will be the engine for change that we once were. We are the party that will build things again. Our commitment to create hundreds of thousands of jobs in the renewable energy sector under the green industrial revolution. Our common sense socialist policies like rent controls, regional banks, public ownership of rail, mail and water, and employee ownership schemes are wildly popular in this country. A Jeremy-led Labour government will build cohesive communities, prioritising the needs of the many. Communities built on fairness, communities built on unity. Comrades, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the man who has encouraged and inspired so many of us to re-engage in politics. Please welcome the leader of our party and the next Prime Minister, Jeremy Corbyn.